It was just money, 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 the best music, the best hair, and the best style. Boom. Right, cool, we're in.
We are in.
It's another episode of The Tracks That Made Us. Aren't we all excited?
Yeah, totally. It's great. Can't wait.
Oh man. Yeah. What did you think of all the response to because at this point the first episode has just dropped.
Yeah.
It seems to be going well, so people don't find my voice monotonous. They don't find Drew's 1,000-yard stare disturbing. It's all going well.
I think they were more disturbed by the fact that I didn't like supergroups so much. You know.
Yeah, man, you're getting a lot of heat for that. A lot of heat.
I'm standing by. I don't look. It's not like I don't like them, all right. But I just, I've got my feelings about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to sit down with those records again and all that kind of stuff. But...
Do you know what I think I might edit into this is a voicemail that Drew sent me when I had kind of been teasing him about not liking supergroups and the passion in his voice.
I was around Asda. Yeah. Around Asda. I was like, fuck is this? Like, and I was just kicking off about like supergroups and
oh man. Well listen,
what was that one? Sorry, final thing on supergroups. What was that one on it was years ago, it was like Tommy Lee and Dave Navarro. Rockstar Supernova.
Oh wow.
And they were all trying to, it was almost like what's it called?
Didn't it feel like that was like a reality TV show, not
yeah, so it was like Pop Idol, whatever it was, but for like Rockstar, for Rockstar.
And there was like, who's going to end up in rehab first?
Yeah, and actually it was an amazing concept, but at the same time it was like,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
what happened to that guy, that singer? And all those kind of things.
I think there was I think that possibly was a sequel to like a show where they tried to make a boy band supergroup that did
Ozone.
All. Yeah, no. You're thinking of O-Town. No, there's another one.
Not Ozone.
Ozone. O-Town with Liquid Dreams.
Sorry.
I mean,
Ozone.
I mean that is gratuitous. Liquid Dreams. But anyway, no, there was like another one. I think it might have been called Simply Boy Band or something like that, and it wasn't featuring Mick Hucknall. But it was like they had one of the guys, I think possibly from New Kids on the Block. And they also had like Bradley from S Club 7, and it was just destined to fail. And I don't even think they charted top 40. I mean, I will check that out. Because if they did go top 40, I will give them the credit. But I have a feeling they didn't. But given that, all the exposure to not even go top 40, even if they got like number 35 or something, that is probably a significant failure. But anyway, like moving on from the super or not so super groups.
Yeah. We need to introduce. Who we got here then, Rod?
Right, so we're changing up the format, and we are introducing a guest who I know very, very well. Drew knows very, very well as well. That's a bit of a ramble, isn't it? It is the amazing Ben Macrow.
Hello, everyone.
Woo!
Hello. So,
cheer. Yeah.
Drew, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about Ben? Or Ben, are you able to introduce yourself?
Do you know what? It'd be nice to get an introduction. I come all this way.
I can re-edit it so the introduction comes first anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll look slicker.
The power of the internet, but you should keep that bit in of you talking about you editing in an introduction.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the magic.
Exactly.
So Drew, like, big him up, man.
Big him up. Well, how did I meet Ben? I met Ben meeting you guys, both of you guys, when I first sort of auditioned for your band, and you guys were looking for a guitarist.
And what was that band called?
I don't know. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys were doing really well, and so I took the opportunity, and I actually, and here we are now, like how many years later, and we're still mates, which is amazing. But anyway, so I met Ben all those years ago, and then after the band sort of folded, we sort of did another band, didn't we, Ben?
We did. It was very good.
I like that band. It was a bit more hardcore and a bit more... Yeah. It was
angry. A lot more angry.
A lot angry. You had a lot to get off your chest, mate.
I did.
And, yeah. And that was
we just got dropped from our record label, so, everyone was a bit angry.
Everyone's a bit angry.
We never officially got dropped, though. That's the thing.
I remember is the band just kind of stopping, like
Yeah.
just not going to. I don't really remember. I don't remember there was any conversation. No one went, "We're done." Boom. Like there was no like it was
I kind of felt like our manager didn't have the heart to tell us we were dropped, and then just stopped returning our calls.
But to be honest, I think that's what happens, with like a lot of these things. Like, I haven't heard from the label for a while, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And by the way, don't go there. Yeah. They've moved. Don't. Yeah. No. If you go there, it's a different business. They won't let you in.
They won't let you.
You haven't been dropped.
You haven't been dropped yet. And then anyway, so after that, we ended up working together, didn't we, mate? In the music shop.
We did.
For a long time.
Yes.
Long
Long time. Yeah.
Long time.
Are you going to name drop Rose Morris?
Yeah, I've got a hoodie of that as well. Still got one. For some reason, I've still got a Rose Morris hoodie. Don't ask. And so we worked there for a long time. And actually, when I look back, it was that period was quite amazing. Actually, we had a really good time.
It was good. It was good.
It was a good laugh. I'm still in contact with some people from there actually. And then you went on to work in. You went up to Glasgow, worked for Westside, and I moved home and. Whatever, here we are now. And that was 10 years, that was 10 years ago, do you know what I mean? So it's in the past, but we're still very much in contact. When I was on tour, like, you put me up and stuff, so it was really kind of you and things like that. So, yeah. Amazing stuff.
And Ben's just been kind of reconnecting with music after a little bit of a self-imposed hiatus.
Yeah, do you know what's really funny is how this happened was actually Drew, your wife's friend, who was my school friend, Rob.
Oh yeah, that's the connection.
Yeah, that's which is really weird.
Our we're all from the same town.
Yeah,
my family's from Taunton, Somerset.
So my mate Rob was like showing me like, oh man, look at all the stuff you can get now, and you can get these little boxes that make noises and music, and it's great. And he was just like playing me the stuff that he was doing on one of those RC 500 Roland's loop station things, and it sounded amazing. And I was like, so you're making music and you're not looking at a computer screen? It's like, yeah. I was like, but there's drums, there's all sorts of synths going on. What's going on? And he's just like, yeah, I'm just, got these boxes and plugging it in, I'm looping it. And it's just like, it was like a mad scientist. And I was trying to get him, say to him, oh no, you need a DAW, you need to get like, Reason going or, Logic going or something like that, and record each thing individually and properly. And he's like, no, it's all about it separate. So I looked into it and started very small with like a little Korg Volker thing, and then it's just kind of expanded to taking up nearly a whole room.
I know. When you showed me the video, I was like, wow, mate, like that's a new level.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I think it's my midlife crisis, I like to think of it as.
It's fine.
Yeah. So that's that kind of like started off this creativity all of a sudden, and I was thinking, well, I don't want to try and do the music thing where I'm just making music I think people want to hear. I'm just making what comes out, and part of the fun is getting all these little synths together, getting them synced together, and just coming up with sounds that are in your head, and actually starting from literally nothing. And
you make an interesting point there. Going back to the whole making music for you.
Yeah.
Rather than for everyone else. And that's a really interesting point, because that's where I'm at, with everything. And that's why, mine and Rod's band is what it is. And it's funny, isn't it? In like when you're younger, you start chasing things that you're like, oh, it's going to make me successful rather than enjoying it.
Yeah. So
it's interesting to sort of come back on something. You forget, you just go, I don't want any of that. I just want to do it because I love it. And you'll probably find you'll get more, you might end up with some weird success because of that, because you love it,
well, it's just a good thing to do that's just not playing on the Xbox or something like that, or spending too much time watching on Netflix or something. You're just getting a chance to, like, I don't know, just make some mad sounds. Like there's one track that the last one that I've put together, because what I do is I make these little tracks, and then I make a video of me like triggering all the synths at certain times, and I'll put it on Instagram or YouTube, just because it's free. It's not going to cost me anything. Puts it out in the universe. And the last track I did, it was literally, I was messing around on my little synth called a Micro Freak, and came up with this patch. And then 2 hours later, I had a complete piece of music, and it was done.
Oh, awesome!
It was recorded. It was done, and I thought, I've got this video of driving along a road. I'll just put it on that. And that's actually been one of the sort of highest videos I've had on Instagram, which is
Amazing.
Oh man, that's really cool. Because I was going to ask you, did you go to a stock footage website, or was that was that you in the car?
That was driving back from a little family break a couple of years ago. It was just like there's this place up in Scotland called Crieff Hydro. It's like a family hotel thing. But one of the roads you got to go down is just desolate. It's like single lane. That's like some weird sort of farm sort of thing. You just looked around and it's like you could be anywhere. It was amazing. So the missus was taking a video of it, and I remember that I had this short 5-second section on my Google Drive. So I just chopped off the ends, put some weird effects on it, looped it, and it goes really well with the music in the background. So it's just getting to do stuff like that, and I'm going to try and get a bit more creative with doing videos and stuff as well, because I'd really like to attempt to do some kind of animated video somehow at some point.
Oh, awesome!
So it's just kind of good to sort of be creative and not have to worry about, right, it's 30 seconds, you haven't hit the chorus yet, what's going on? Just getting to just sort of almost compose music from scratch. Which is it's kind of cool, and there seems to be a bit of a community out there as well of people my age who were like just making mad sounds on synthesizers and just having fun, and it's great, and there's no kind of snobbery attached to it like there is with the rock culture that we came across back in the day. And if one day you're wearing your hat backwards, one day you're wearing it forwards, all that kind of stuff. There's none of that sort of thing. So it's a nice little community that's out there.
I have just noticed something.
Oh yeah, I've just seen that as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the end of the world because you can just chop it.
Right,
and we're back. Part 2.
And we're back. There was. Yeah, I mean, the man got us. The Zoom man got us.
The Zoom man did get us. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we'll kind of square this, but we'll use some editing magic. But I guess the thing we've kind of talked about a few things, but one of the reasons we thought Ben would be a great guest is he's been dabbling with covers, and that's kind of the theme of the show, the tracks that made us. So he has done. He kind of came to us with this. Do you guys want to do a Prince cover? And Prince is a funny one because on one side of things, people might go, "Oh, why would a rock band do a Prince song?" And then real musicians go, "Because we're musicians." Duh, it's Prince.
It is Prince.
How can you say no?
Prince unites all, as far as
I'm
concerned.
exactly.
He's the one variable that it doesn't matter if you're into pop, rock, jazz, bluegrass, no matter what. If anyone says they don't like Prince, they get slapped immediately. It's true though, isn't it? Because in all genres you'd be like, "Oh, I like that band, but I don't like that band," or "I like that band, but I don't like that band." But Prince is the one variable where you just go, you cannot not like him. And if you
the thing is, he has such a wide and varied body of work. So it's I mean, it's very difficult to say you don't like him because he's pretty much. I mean, I haven't heard his thrash metal album, but I'm pretty sure he's done one. It's just it's just probably buried in a vault in Paisley Park.
Yeah,
it's
he's just a phenomenal. He was just this amazing. I mean, I was so fortunate to go and see him live just before he passed away. He played that.
What?
I did that.
With Third Eye Girl.
Yeah. It was
Plectrum album.
Yeah, so the London Coco, and it was a secret gig, and we got in. We were downstairs. We snuck him downstairs, and he opened with Purple Rain.
Oh, mate!
It was amazing, and I was so happy to see that. And I've also seen there's a really cool Prince tribute band that my friend took me to, and they played the oh god, you should check them out. I think they're called New Revolution or Purple. I can't remember now because he's changed the name now. But the guy's called Jimmy Love. If you ever want to, if you want to put that up, Rod, on the old screens.
Yeah. Jimmy Love will appear now. Yeah.
Please.
Nice.
He's wicked,
Nice.
and he does he fronts a Prince tribute, and it is amazing. So next time they're touring, and they proper like tour, like in tour bus and everything, like they obviously make a good living out of it, and it is awesome. Like me and my mate went to see it because he was friends with Jimmy, and I met Jimmy, had a really good chat with him, and he does a lot of guitar teching for like the musicals and the theatre shows, and he was like, I was like, that was amazing. Like, and when you listen to the body of work, it's like, you know.
There's something
incredible.
for everyone that he does.
Yeah,
You,
exactly.
This thing, if you say you don't like Prince, then you've obviously not listened to a lot of his stuff. Because as I was saying, the tour you went to see on Coco, the Plectrum Electrum album is just amazing. That's the one he did with. He put this. I think there was these girls who were playing in the band, and he got on board with them and produced this album. And there's like one track where it's proper Alice in Chains for like a little riff. I think it's the second or third track.
Yeah,
it's a proper Alice in Chains style riff, and I was like, listen to it, whoa. And then there's like, you know, the Hendrix style on there. There's and then it goes into the kind of poppy stuff, and they've even got Lizzo who does a track on there, and I'm pretty sure that was probably the first time that she was on any kind of music that was released.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just so varied.
And it's also like you mentioned about Lizzo there. It's like the amount of artists he basically broke. I mean, I can't remember the year. It's a year in the 80s. And there's like some stat where, you know, out of the top 10 best-selling songs of the year, he's written 6 of them. And it's like, he's so prolific. He's so prolific that he can throw away songs for him can be number ones for other artists. I mean, that is just
you
know, and the whole thing, you know, when he turned his name into a symbol, and you know, he was he was basically saying he was a slave. Like, it's a really interesting point in that the music industry just didn't really know how to deal with this guy. You know, they like the cycle of, you know, give us 12 songs every, you know, 18, 24, maybe even 36 months. And this is a guy who's like, I can write 12 songs in a week. You know what I mean? Like, I want to put out music because that's what I love to do and that's what I find interesting. And I would just imagine for someone like Prince, right, who's just such a creative and just like his mind must just be going in places like I can't even imagine. And then to have a label telling you, oh, you've got to play just these 12 songs for like a couple of years. I mean, that must have been like such a pressure on him that you know, eventually he just pushed back and he did it his way. And I mean, man, the guy is he's just a force of nature. You know?
There was that kind of, I don't know when it was, but there was when he fell out with the record label or something that he still owed him like loads of records. So he went, how many do I owe you? And apparently he just went, here you go, and just gave him like 4, you know, like 4 albums or I don't know. Was he on Warner's or something? I don't know, but
I think it was. I believe it was Sony.
It was Warner's originally.
It was Warner's because I was reading about. So this is how much preparation I did for this. This video. I watched Purple Rain over the weekend.
Amazing.
Nice. And I've never seen it before, and I was
have
like,
you not?
What? No, I know, sacrilege. And I was like, for like 3 or 4 years, I've been saying, right, I'm going to buy Purple Rain and I'm going to watch it. And then my mate at work would be like, oh man, it's terrible. I was like, how can it be terrible? You know, it can't be as bad as Cool as Ice. You know, that's a terrible music-based film. It can't be as bad as that. Turns out it's not far off it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest film in the world. No,
it's not.
Soundtrack's great though.
It's interesting because he apparently he after the album came out, before that he said to his manager, I want to be in a feature film, otherwise you're fired. And they put the film together, and he had an idea of what he wanted to do, and they got script writers involved, and you know, a couple of directors and stuff, and they made this film for not very much money, in the grand scheme of things, but it did quite well. But it's like it's interesting because you having the time on there, Morris Day and the Time, that was his other sort of musical project he was doing at the time. So that was the ones where if his stuff was a bit more poppy, that's what it would be on. that he'd get the time to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He'd leave the print
I
stuff.
love the
for
time.
More,
Time's wicked.
See, Morris Day is
Day's,
best in
yeah.
that film. You know?
Well, it's cool because it's they're a rivalry, aren't they, in that film? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But they're not actually like with the time in Prince. It was like they were all best mates, weren't they? Stuff, but
well, yeah. I mean, Prince wrote all the stuff for the time.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And that's what's also interesting, that people probably know this, but not maybe they don't. Two guys who are in the time, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Jimmy Jam, what a name!
Well, him and Terry Lewis went on to produce a lot of Janet Jackson stuff.
Oh wow!
Because as I was like, you know,
didn't he?
Yeah, they did. They did
Yeah.
the album Control, which is amazing. It's kind of like Prince without the Prince can be over the top sometimes, and that's brilliant, and that's what we like about him. But with this Control album by Janet Jackson, which that these two guys did, it's got all the sounds of Prince, but it's kind of dialed back a little bit.
Did they do Rhythm Nation?
They did do Rhythm Nation. Yeah.
Rhythm Nation's like the album, mate.
Do you feel though, Janet Jackson kind of she's like stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because like no one gives her the credit. Like some of her records are absolutely phenomenal, and like if she was in any other family, everyone would be like, yeah, my sister's Janet Jackson. But in that family, they go, yeah, sister's Janet Jackson.
But yeah, but I think with someone like Janet Jackson, she carved out her own career.
She did.
As much as Michael Jackson did. But the problem is, when your brother's Michael Jackson, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But that's a big shoe to try and fit into. But I would say she's second in line. Because like the rest of the band... the rest of them, I don't really remember. I remember LaToya released an album. That was dodge. And
I just want to say something that is my Jackson thing, right?
Yeah.
That I think it's Jermaine Jackson. I believe it's his son, has possibly one of the best names ever. Your Majesty.
Were they the ones from 3T?
No, because are they
That's all connected. They're like
they are. They're
I think they're sons.
They're Michael Jackson's nephews.
But from
I didn't think they were Jermaine's sons. I thought they were Tito's sons.
Oh, they might be.
But
I don't know. There's like a million of them and a gazillion of them.
Yeah, but, I mean, they are a dynasty, though, aren't they? I mean, and this is the thing as well. Like, probably in that family, the least talented one probably would be up there. You know what I mean? Just compared to like.
I didn't know. Every time I look, there's like a new brother or sister pops up. I'm like, oh, the oldest one is a girl, and is it Rebby Jackson? She had some songs out or something like that. I was like, who? Like, there's like every time it's just like there's another Jackson pops up. You're like, okay, there are loads of kids. There's about 8 of them.
Oh, that's it's mad,
and it's weird. They're actually. I know we're getting to like the Jackson stamps, but it's like there's a funny point where one of them left. I don't know who it was, and then they brought in someone else, maybe Marlon or something, and he became part of the Jackson 5. And then they came off of Motown, and then they become the Jacksons. That's when they went to CBS on Sony, and that's why there's 6 of them, because they're not Jackson 5.
Oh, right. Do you think they possibly had like so many children, so in case like one left the band, they had
that's what
reserves?
Happens. Yeah, it's exactly what happens. Yeah. It's mad.
I just wanted
to stories.
One of the things I was thinking, just kind of hark back to like the quality of the movie Purple Rain is. I mean, I enjoy it. You know, I do enjoy bad movies. You know, there are a number of fantastic bad movies like Troll 2. Like, you know, the real classics like Plan 9 from Outer Space or The Room, you know, and I don't think Purple Rain is quite there, because
I'll tell you there's a bad movie that should be on your list, right?
What's that?
And it's so bad that even with the marketing that they had, it's just terrible. In the UK, it was called Mutronics, but in America, it was released The Guyver, which is a film based on a Japanese anime.
I know the
same
guy.
name. And Mark Hamill was in the film.
Yes.
And in the poster, it's Mark Hamill's face with like half the Guyver armor on it. But he actually wasn't the Guyver. It was some kid.
Yeah, wasn't he the bad guy?
No, he was
Okay.
the poor like police detective who turns into a giant cockroach at the end.
Nice. I mean, you're
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker one day,
Yep,
and then you're a giant cockroach.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's it.
Now
But
that's a
going
bad
back,
movie, but yeah.
my theory of Purple Rain, right, is you're dealing with Prince, right? Arguably the greatest musician who ever lived, right? And he's used to being in the music world where pretty much he calls the shots and everything he touches turns to gold. And I think what happened is he moved into this new arena, the arena of film, but they treated him as if he had that transferable power. And I think it's quite evident from watching the movie he doesn't.
Did he do any other films? Did he do any
Yeah,
other
he did.
films?
He
What
did.
do?
They did a sequel.
It was a sequel.
There was a sequel, but it's not a story sequel. It was more a concert film, which is kind of
Philosophical sequel.
which is kind of how Purple Rain should have been. But it's
Was
like
it Under
like
the Cherry Moon? Is it Under the Cherry Moon? Is it that?
something like that. It's very much
Yeah.
more towards the kind of Moonwalker thing.
Oh, great!
Now that's a movie.
Does he
Yeah.
become a robot?
No, but it has the kind of gangster dancing bit, almost like a
Brilliant!
clicking fingers bit, and it's just like it's.
We should do an episode of Moonwalker.
Actually, I tell you what, if you want niche more than Moonwalker, have you guys seen Captain EO?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It is amazing.
That was Disneyland.
It's amazing. Now,
that was Disneyland.
when I was a kid, I went to Disneyland and I went on the Captain EO 3D
Hmm.
immersive simulator experience, and it made my year.
Is that the
life,
underwater
whatever.
thing? Am I thinking of something?
It was
No,
like it was a
it's
thing
like-
he did after Thriller before Bad. It was
Yes,
like,
I did see that. The
and it was at
3D
Disney.
glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
with
it
Angelica
was.
Houston's in it.
It's on
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
it's-
You watch
I-
on there.
I
It's a
think-
bit like Flight the Navigator. That's what it reminds me of. It's that.
Yeah,
kind
and
of,
I think
That's a film.
minute for minute, it was at the time it was the most expensive movie ever shot.
yeah, it's ludicrous. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But that's the 80s for
possibly-
you, wasn't it? You know, that was the
Yeah.
80s. You go back to like Prince and, you know, I mean,
best
money was
music-
spent on those records, man. Like, you know.
Man, yeah, it was just money, money, money. The best music, the best hair, and the best style. Boom. That's
Yeah.
and we were all born in the 80s, so we're children of it.
Yeah.
The crazy
So-
the crazy thing is that so as I was getting more into synth music and stuff, what I was doing to teach myself how things work is I was trying to recreate tracks.
Mm.
So I picked that Prince one. I Would Die for You.
Oh, you haven't even. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you've just really,
Yeah.
really subtly announced the track. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in case anyone missed that,
It was I Would Die for You. Because I was thinking if you're going to try and do a Prince track, right, there's no point going anywhere near most of his catalogue because I've only been playing keyboards for maybe a year.
Mm.
So that eliminates quite a few tracks. Quite a few, loads of them. And one that's not too guitar heavy. And so I was like, oh, what am I going to do? One that's got like lots of synth in it. Oh, I could do Raspberry Beret and it's got the string line in it. How am I going to do that? Don't know. And I was like, I Would Die for You. That's brilliant.
Mm.
I was like, great. So, listen to it. And it's just the same, 4 chords?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing. And that shows you the genius of Prince. That there's quite a lot of songs where it doesn't change. The chord progression is the same throughout the whole song. But with Prince, the way he brought stuff in, brought stuff out, the sounds he came up with, it's amazing. So I was like, right, what did he use? So the drums, I thought, oh, must be an amazing drummer. No, it was a Lindrum machine. He was one of the first people to have a Lindrum, which after doing some research into what a Lindrum is, these things were like £4,000, £5,000.
Is that the hexagon pad things? Is it?
No. Lindrum was. I'm sure Rod will be on the old Google and he'll get a picture of it. But it was one of the first drum machines that used a sample. So up
Okay.
until this point, we had you had the not the 8, maybe the 808 was out at this time. The Roland 808.
I love the
possibly.
808. Everything.
So it was basically it was a drum machine with a sample snare, sample kick, sample hat, sample toms. You've heard it on lots of recordings. The Tears for Fears album, Songs from the Big Chair.
Yeah.
It's got Lindrum all over it. Loads of them. Like Fleetwood Mac, for instance, had 4 of these drum machines, and they cost
Wow.
mega money, and there was only a certain amount produced. So anyway, that's quite a big part of his sound. And doing some other research, the synth he used was one of those a Prophet synth, which is just nuts. They're remade nowadays and they cost absolute fortune. So anyway, I was like, listening to it, I was like, okay, how am I going to recreate this? And there's a piece of software called Arturia V Collection, which is this French company, Arturia, have painstakingly recreated all the synths from the 70s to nowadays, which are on all the major recordings, soundtracks. So it's got like Moogs, Mini Moogs, and one of their best ones is actually the CS80, which was the synth that was used on Blade Runner.
Oh wow!
So you've got like that kind of, so you get all those kind of sounds, and they just sound amazing. So I was like, getting some keyboard sounds from that, and using a DAW, you can play the chord in, tidy it up, get it all synchronized, and great. So I was like, right. So that's the track I'm going to try doing. And I've got this really cool little mono synth, which is called Behringer Crave. And what's interesting about the I Would Die For You track is the hi-hats that are on the 16th. You think it's a hi-hat, but I think it's actually like the noise. Like a lot of synths have a white noise generator in them. So I was just kind of messing about with that on the bass, and you can kind of mix it in where it almost sounds like a hi-hat, but it also sounds different at the same time. And that's like one of my favourite parts of the track is the weird little noisy sort of hi-hats on there. Yeah. And so you're just listening to it and you're like, the lyrics are amazing in that song. And you just kind of feel that he really would die for that person he's singing that song to. He's almost like proving himself by saying what he is, saying how different he is from, other people. And so
I think it's good he was aware of that.
Yeah, lyrically, it's not throwaway. There is some substance there, and just the melodies in it, and the background melodies that get brought in, and then one of the things that Prince does amazingly well is take something like a riff that can go over a minor chord progression or go over a major chord progression. He does it with Raspberry Beret with the string line. It almost sounds like it's it's quite a happy tune, but then towards the end of the song, it switches into a minor, but that melody stays the same and it fits. I don't know how he comes up with that, but anyway. So that's what I liked about that song, is it's kind of like the greatest hits of Prince all compiled into one song. You've got the great guitar playing, the great backing vocals, because you've got Wendy and Lisa doing the backing vocals on that.
That's right. Yeah.
You've got the keyboard sounds, you've got the classic clap, which when you watch Purple Rain, that there's two sounds. There's this weird kind of clap thing with loads of like reverb and a little kind of almost like, I don't know what it is. I was trying to figure it out, but it's like a little click, but it's a tom, but it's a click. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's in quite a lot of his tunes. So there's lots of sounds to try and recreate, and it's not too complicated to play, and it's just a great track.
Amazing.
And I tell you what, like when the Nuno Bettencourt approved Drew Lowe starts whittling over the top of it, like it's gonna go to another level. Although I'm sure, to be fair, like Prince, always people underrate how good a guitarist he was.
He's amazing.
Like,
but he's amazing at everything. Like it's just Have you ever heard? I'm sure we're all in the same boat. Has everyone heard every single record by Prince?
No.
Have you? I was gonna start on it soon. I was gonna start with vinyls. I was just gonna purchase like his first album, and his first album came out in the late 70s. I think it's just called Prince. I think it's got like a pale blue background cover and a picture of him on the front. And apparently, like, he convinced the record companies to produce it himself. And the record company were like, no way, like, that's not going to happen. And he was like, well, I'm not doing it then. And he was really young. He was only about 18 or 19 when he did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can hear it. It's like he's still learning how to produce on his first record. He's just gone in going, these are the sounds I want. I don't know how all this works, but just, it's like, that's,
It's
amazing.
like the I can hear it, and I just need like I don't need someone to tell me how it should sound. And I'm pretty sure like just look at like his output. That's blatantly like it's in his head. Like it just needs to come out of there.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like some artists, us included, like you'll go in with a producer who will coax out of you something. I just think just looking at the guy and looking at his work, that was someone, and they're very rare who just it's like it's in here. You've just got to help me get it out. Not like you've got to inspire me to do something. It's finished. It's signed, sealed, delivered in there, and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I 100% agree with you there, Rod, because you think about, like, I Would Die For You, the piano chords, it's so subtle that it just sounds like he just rocked up at a piano and just started playing it and just started singing it.
Yeah.
And and out comes, something amazing. So similar to, I was listening to a podcast today when I was working. Michael Rosenbaum, he was Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Yeah.
So he does a whole podcast thing, and I was thinking, Drew, you were a big Smallville fan at the time.
Yeah.
All right.
I
was looking through his list, and he's got Steve Lukather on there.
Awesome.
And so Steve Lukather and him are good buddies, apparently. So he's like talking about all the stuff, and he was saying about all the Toto stuff that they did, and they just literally recorded that in the studio in 2 takes, and they wrote it pretty much there and then. And that's kind of what you feel that Prince had as well, because Prince had his studio built, he had all the gear.
Yeah, he had all that, didn't he? And that was a great thing. He could just sit there and create. Yeah. Great. Apparently, the whole place was wired for sound.
Yeah,
like every room.
The whole thing is you just got to create, and it doesn't matter if this track's rubbish, just put it to one side. You get another track out, you start doing that, and you just try and write as much as possible.
As customary, Gene Simmons says that, isn't it? Just get it out of the system. Just write.
We're a bit
always with a Kiss plug. Always the hottest band in the world.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, back to Kiss again. We somehow we've done that. Actually,
we could go back into like Gene Simmons tried the acting, but he did it differently to Prince.
Oh, what was that film he did?
He just did the straight acting.
Love that film.
Oh yeah,
Wanted Dead or Alive or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
great film. Why is it great? I don't know, but
I remember it was great. Didn't he do one with Cher?
Probably. It was he had like an 80s acting career. Mid-80s acting career.
Anyway,
moving on.
Back to Prince. Drew, you were very modest. You were very modest when I dropped your little claim to fame.
The little Nuno
viral.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, you know what? The connection I would say with Nuno and Prince, I'd say they're both very prolific. Okay, Prince is like clearly the bigger artist and stuff, but Nuno Bettencourt is like he needs to get credit where it's due. All that kind of stuff,
and also Prince has never reposted Drew Lowe playing guitar.
No, that was quite amazing. Still now, the fact that's even happened shouldn't have happened in my life, and it did happen. And the fact he just said lovely things about my playing, and I don't know. That's what I can't even talk about it now. It's just like someone you've looked up to your whole life since you're a little kid. He's another one. I listened to his guitar sound when I was a kid. I was like, that's that. What's that sound? He's very unique. His playing, very rhythmical and percussive, and that's the thing I took from it. And he has a very interesting sort of guitar sound. And so for him to even just go oh, you're great on guitar. I would have just taken all right, mate. But the fact he bothered, even if he just went, oh, yeah, here you go. But the fact he just even took the time to go, who's that covering my song? I really like that. I'm going to write about that, and he didn't have to. And he did it with a couple of other people as well, which is really nice. So there's 3 of us all together. And I just couldn't believe it. My mate just texted me and was just like, dude, Nuno Bettencourt's just reposted your thing. I was like, what are you talking about? And it's just, to me, that's just, it is literally like one of your heroes, just you doing a cover of
obviously I'm biased, right? And I'm not trying to put anyone down, but my wife agreed with me that out of the 3, the other 2 looked like they were really concentrating, whereas you just looked like you might be reading the Yellow Pages.
Probably. I was probably just
I've been in a band with you for long enough. It's just a warm up, isn't it?
Just a warm up. Yeah. Someday I was just a bit bored that day. Whatever. No, it was
that's why you get Drew in your band though. That's just it. Because
but no,
anything musical I
that
needed to do,
you know,
it was like get Drew in. He can put the feel on it. He knows what you want, and he can play it, and he can get it right first time. And it's just that's
I try. That's the danger of like editing my record. I've just redone all the guitars again, and then you just go no, I can do better. And the problem is, you know. Like,
I was sitting next to you, like when you recorded most of those guitars, and I was thinking, man, this playing is on a level. And then when you listen to it, you're like, oh no, that's not good. I'll do it again. Just like, wow, this is insane.
I've redone it again. It's tighter again, you know. But anyway,
I mean, you know, you've got the celebrity endorsements. You've got Nuno Bettencourt.
That's going on my CV, like right now. That's going on the CV.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that should be the only thing on my CV? Why do you think we should get you in to play guitar on our thing? Because Nuno Bettencourt says I can play the guitar,
and he also says that you were playing it in a way that was even kind of smarter than the way he did, which I thought was kind of very humble, like
Which is I didn't realise that at the time because when I learnt it, I just learnt it off a tab.
Oh, I've got the little alert again now. Everyone can see I'm cheap. It's just having running out of time.
Just having too much fun.
Yeah. Sorry, Charlie Murphy.
That's all right. We've got 10 minutes. It's fine. It's plenty of time.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. We can wrap it up. Running out of time. Yeah, we're cheap. We should definitely for the future episodes. We will be buying a Zoom subscription.
Such
Actually,
a cheapskate,
we were saying Drew's wife might even have one. I know I'm such a cheapskate. But it's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to press the upgrade button. We're just gonna go. We've got the timer, and as Europe say, it is the final countdown.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a terrible joke. As a father, though, I am licensed to make dad jokes. So
you can say double the dad jokes now. You got two of them.
Yeah, we've got two.
Yeah, you get double dad joke status.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, man. I mean, we've talked about the track. We've talked about Prince. What should we do, Ben? Should we reminisce about the old days?
Reminisce about that? Yeah, if you like.
You guys have got
so for those who don't know,
stories.
we didn't actually. I don't think we've actually ever said it on the podcast yet. So Ben and I, we used to when we were teenagers. We were
when you were a teenager and I was clutching onto my teenage years with every fibre of my being. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to make you sound more like a prodigy than you are. But you don't need to. You don't need to take those kind advances. But yeah, we were in Violent Delight. It's probably our kind of dark. I mean, depending on which way you want to look at it, it's probably like our claim to fame and also our dark, shadowy secret. But yeah, it was awesome. But it does feel like it was like another life ago because we were both so young, and I think it's crazy. Like Ben was 19. In the band, and that would usually for most people to be like signed to a major label and doing that would be like he's the baby of the band. But actually, I think I was 15 or 16, so Ben was like the elder statesman almost. Apart from our drummer Ken, who was 23, but he looked about 12.
Yeah, yeah, they were good days. It was pretty crazy the audition that I had for your band because it was It wasn't manufactured. I've just mentioned the word audition. It was well, let's put it this way. You guys needed a bass player. And like when I was living in London, all I did was look for bands to join and had to go to an audition. And it was just like crazy because it was the guitarist's dad who was like, organising everything. And I kind of walked in and it was just all a bit like, oh, this is odd. And then we played and the songs were great. And I really enjoyed the songs. And I was like, oh, I probably won't hear anything. And then 3 weeks later, out of the blue, I think the guitarist's dad gave me a call and said, yeah, I'd like to get you in. I was like, oh, great. But it was cool because you had like 2 or 3 songs which were kind of done and some other ones which were, it's being worked on. But it was great to kind of almost get in at the beginning, it felt like. Because you were you were some kids who were messing about, stumbled across quite a good tune, and then you're like, right, okay, you kind of had just learnt that. And you were learning more and more stuff, and then it was good to get on board at that point and kind of steer in a little bit of ideas and write and stuff as well. So it was it was cool. It was very cool.
Should we talk about the Kerrang Awards in 2003?
If I could remember the Kerrang Awards from 2003.
So we got invited to the Kerrang Awards, which we thought was super cool, and I think it was. I think we were making up for lost time because we also that year we'd gone to the Metal Hammer Awards, but we had to play a gig at the Kingston Peel, so we actually only got to go to like an hour of the Metal Hammer Awards, and then we went back to the Peel and played a gig, and we felt we missed out. But we got invited to the Kerrang Awards, and we had to open the Reading Festival the next day, and our manager just said to us, "Whatever you do, you've got arguably the biggest show of your life tomorrow, right? So rein it in, guys, because we know you guys like to party." And usually it would be me that fucked up. And then possibly Tom, our guitarist, would. And then Ken just couldn't, like, we used to laugh, like, if he sniffed a beer, he'd be hungover for 3 days. But Ben was like Mr. Dependable. Like, Ben was like the grown-up of the band. He'd always look after us. Anyway, Ben managed to disappear. And then, like, we found him, like, just lying down, like, pass out drunk, like, people pouring booze in his mouth. It was crazy. It was like in old school when Will Ferrell turns into Frank the Tank. It was like, oh my God. We had to carry him into the van. And like, honestly, like, on the build up to playing Reading, like, and we were on the second, like, we were opening the second stage. So it wasn't like we were like on some like rubbish stage in the middle of the day and no one cared. It's like, we were playing like a big tent, first act on. And like literally with an hour to go, we're worried like Ben might not wake up. But luckily we had buckets on either side of the stage. He did come to, and I was quite angry with him for about 3 months afterwards.
Yeah,
but he did play quite. I didn't want to tell him at the time, but he did play quite a good show.
Yeah, I have to say, look, I may have been like close to death at that point, but I swear to God that I played one of the best gigs I've ever played.
You were close to death because if the sickness didn't kill you, I was going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, but you know what? Did I let you down? No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
What did you do for the rest of the day after that, Ben? Did you just go and pass out?
Well, I remember that I puked 5 minutes before we went on. I got my bass on it. I was like, no, it's going to be okay. And then as soon as we come off, puking, followed by more puking.
Oh.
And then trying to eat something and.
I think you went back to the hotel.
I stayed at the festival the whole day. That's how rock and roll.
Oh, really?
Was. Yeah.
That's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
When was that? Reading. That was Reading.
Reading, 2003, wasn't it?
2003. Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're in a rock band. That's what rock bands do. You know.
Not anymore. Not our age.
It's like, it was.
You miss it, Ben?
Do I miss it? I was thinking about this the other day when I texted you, because I was like, I came across the letter with the initial offer from Warner Brothers on it, where it lays out the options. I've still got it somewhere, and it tells you how much
some
money.
scary money on there towards the end, isn't there?
But it's like, I do miss it, but then I don't miss it. It's like it shaped who you are now. It's not the same music industry it was back then. So it was a heck of a lot of fun, but it was a big down. Took a while to get over that one, but it was a different time, and it was a way to get to where we are now, and it's funny that people still talk about it nearly 20 years later. You can still see people. It affected a few people negatively, and it affected a few people very positively.
That's what bands do, though, don't
they? But it was good. I just wish we had Drew in the band before as well, because as soon as Drew joined the band, the sound just went from like there to there, and it was just like, oh man,
it was good fun.
Oh,
listen, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
We're gonna have to wrap this up. So that's been basically the tracks that made us. If anyone didn't know, because probably didn't make it that clear, it's Prince, I Would Die for You. Enjoy the vid.
Thank you, Ben.
Enjoy the song. And thank you, Ben.
No problem.
It's been great catching up.
It's been an honour.
Shooting the shit.
It's been an honour.
And yeah.
And so I want your album as soon as it comes out, because what I've heard so far, it is amazing, and it's some of your guys' best work in your
mate.
other projects, which I've heard. I think it's just great. So just keep at it, and I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more.
Oh, me too. I'm looking forward to hearing it at some point. Fuck's sake, like, you know.
Nah, man. It'll be there. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Remember to like the video if you do, and subscribe so that you are informed whenever an episode of The Tracks That Made Us come up. We've been Just a Ride. This is Ben Macrow. Thanks a lot, guys. Rock on.
I'm not a woman, I'm not a man. I am something that you'll never understand. I'll never beat you, I'll never lie. And if you're evil, I'll forgive you by and by. 'Cause you, I would die for you. Yeah, darling, if you want me to, you, I would die for you. Yeah, I'm not your lover, I'm not your friend. I am something that you'll never comprehend. No need to worry, no need to cry. I'm your messiah and you're the reason why. 'Cause you, I would die for you. Yeah, darling, if you want me to, you, I would die for you. Yeah, sing one more time. You're just a sinner and I am told. Be your fire when you're cold. Make you happy when you're sad. Make you good when you are bad. I'm not human, I am dove. I'm your conscience, I am love. All I really need is to know that you believe. Yeah, I would die for you. Yeah, darling, if you want me to, you, I would die for you. Yeah, you. I would die for you, darling, if you want me to. I would die for you. Sing one more time.